Greetings, friends. At this very moment, leaders of the European Union are gathering for a meeting to decide the critical issue of aid for Ukraine for the year 2026. Until now, almost all matters concerning the EU summit had been resolved and a joint communiqué released. However, the first and most vital point of that communiqué, the one regarding Ukraine, is currently missing. The leaders of the European Union have two potential paths to resolve the Ukrainian question. The first path, the reparation loan. The first involves granting Ukraine what is known as a reparation loan. This would consist of frozen Russian Federation assets, totaling approximately 130 billion euros. The premise is that Ukraine would eventually repay this money to the European Union once Russia pays reparations for its aggression against our country. However, we all understand that Russia is unlikely to ever acknowledge its aggression or pay reparations. Effectively, we are talking about the confiscation of Russian money currently held in European depositories. While the EU has already decided on an indefinite freeze of Russian assets, enabling a decision by a qualified majority, significant opposition remains from several member states. Political resistance. It is widely believed that U.S. President Donald Trump stands behind these dissenting countries. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, a known ally of Trump, has emphasized that transferring Russian assets to Ukraine without a solid legal framework would represent Putin's first victory in this war. Belgian Prime Minister Bart de Wever has joined Meloni's position, noting that the EU has yet to provide his country, which holds the lion's share of Russian assets, with the necessary legal guarantees. Other countries hesitant to participate in the distribution of Russian assets include Hungary, Slovakia, Bulgaria, Malta, and the Czech Republic. The discussion promises to be difficult. Before the session, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk stated clearly, "The time has come to decide, because it is either money today or blood tomorrow." This is the choice facing Europeans. The second path, European taxpayer funding. The second option is legally simpler but politically more fraught. It involves European countries providing 90 billion euros to Ukraine as debt security. Unlike the issue of Russian assets, any decision to use European taxpayer money must be approved unanimously. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán has already stated he agrees to neither the reparation loan nor the use of taxpayer funds. Furthermore, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has stressed that using frozen Russian assets is the only acceptable path forward. A test for Europe. In this atmosphere of deadlock, and following President Zelensky's address to the leaders before his departure for Warsaw, a high-stakes closed-door discussion is beginning. This is a true test for Europeans. Are they capable of managing the security of their own continent without the Americans? Currently, the United States is led by a capricious child who seems unable to grasp the gravity of the 21st century and is focused solely on his own image. Europe is being squeezed by both Washington and Moscow. The positions of Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin converge on one point: they both want a weakened European Union. The security of the European continent depends on the adequacy of the EU's position regarding aid for Ukraine. Donald Tusk was right: if Europeans do not find the money for Ukraine today, they will have to shed blood tomorrow. If Ukraine, which currently holds back Russia's imperial ambitions, falls, Putin's appetite will not stop at our borders. The Russians will remember the post-World War II era when Stalin's Soviet Union was a superpower controlling a vast portion of Europe. The 2021 demands from the Russian Foreign Ministry for NATO to withdraw to its 1997 borders were not the fantasies of geographers, they were serious plans. With the appearance of the Orshnik missile system in Belarus, near NATO borders, these intentions have become even more realistic. If Europeans decide that saving money is more important than helping Ukraine resist aggression, they will likely end up with both shame and war, as has happened so often in human history. Thank you, friends. Stay tuned, subscribe, and support the channel. Victory and peace to you.